Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 15 of albums that are 50 years old in 2023. We're going back and looking at 1973. We're picking out our favorite 31 albums released in that great year of music. Phenomenal year of music. So many killer albums. 31's not even like tipping the barrel, right? I mean, it's just like there's easily a top 75 from that year. Way more, actually. I think my overall list is well over 100 albums that I really like from that year, and it's probably even bigger than that. Anyway, so today, for pick number 15, day number 15, this album was released December 5th, 1973, right at the end of the year, right before the holidays. Recorded at EMI and ARC Studios and Kingsway Recorders in London. Lagos in Nigeria air as well. For Apple Records, produced by Paul McCartney. Of course, we're talking about Band on the Run by Paul McCartney and Wings. Not the first album they released that year, because, of course, earlier in the year they released Red Rose Speedway, which is a pretty decent album, right? Not a great album. For me, that album wouldn't quite make a list like this, but they came back with this just a bunch of months later and knocked it out of the park, and arguably their biggest album ever, biggest studio album ever, and most well-received studio album. Of course, in the band at that time, Paul McCartney, lead and backing vocals, bass, acoustic and electric guitars, keyboards, drums, percussion. Paul plays everything, right? Linda McCartney on harmony and backing vocals, organ, keyboards, and percussion. Danny Lane, lead backing harmony vocals, okay, as well as guitars and percussion. Additional people showing up on this album. You got Howie Casey on saxophone. Ginger Baker plays a little percussion on one track. That's right, the Ginger Baker. Remy Kabaka on percussion on one track. Ian Horn, Trevor Jones did some backing vocals. Actually, two roadies for the band. And then you have various other people, Tony Visconti on orchestrations, Jeff Emmerich, sound engineer, and things like that. So, so this was kind of like, this was basically the trio of Paul and Linda and Denny before they really fleshed out the band, to include Joe English and Jimmy McCullough as guitarist and full-time drummer. And they would kind of record on the albums going forward and tours and whatnot. But, this is the absolute classic. First of all, it kicks off with the legendary title track. I mean, Band on the Run, the song is just an amazing, amazing song, as only Paul McCartney could write. Then Jet, another killer song, which there are times where I like Jet more than I like Band on the Run. They're both amazing. You got the lovely Bluebird. I mean, those vocal harmonies are just absolutely killer. I mean, Paul McCartney knows how to write a melody, right? Mrs. Vanderbilt, another, you have some really cool deep tracks on this album. Miss Vanderbilt, Let Me Roll It. Let Me Roll is a good kind of mid-paced rocker, right? Kind of bluesy, great guitar work. You got Mamunia, again, great chorus, great vocal harmonies on that. It's a very kind of silly, quirky song. I dig it. You got No Words. You got Picasso's Last Words, Drink to Me, Drink to My Health. I mean, just a very Beatles-ish kind of song. 1985, I think, is probably the underrated sleeper gem on the album. Very cool, kind of like, again, it's got a very strong Beatles flair, but it's kind of dramatic, right? Great vocal from Paul on that. And then you got, like the session tracks, which were included on various reissues and remasters. You got Hell on Wheels and Country Dreamer. Hell on Wheels is absolutely terrific. Great old school kind of rock song. So, and this particular album, all right, let's go to the charts. So, number 1 in Austria, number 4 Belgium, number 1 in Canada, number 11 in Japan, number 1 in Norway, number 1 in Spain, number 1 in the UK, number 1 in the US, number 5 in Sweden, number 15 in Germany. Let's see, what else? And that was the original release dates. At the end of the year, how did it rank sales overall end of the year? On US Billboard, it was the number 3 top-selling album of the year. Number 2 in the UK, number 1 in both Australia and Canada. And this was a big seller for the band. Platinum Plus album. And a classic for a reason. Had to make my list here. Just had to. There's always going to be a soft spot for Paul McCartney and Wings. For me, no matter what album you're talking about in their catalog, they're all pretty special in my opinion. But this Venus and Mars, Speed of Sound is pretty damn good as well. Of course, the triple live album, I should say, is one of my favorite live albums of all time. So I really like Wings. And again, one of those bands that a lot of people say that their albums, if you look at all the albums in their catalog, Back to the Egg is another great album too that I love. London Town is strong too. Probably, do they have any albums start to finish that are absolutely drop dead classic? That's arguable, right? I mean, maybe this is the closest one because you got some. There is a little bit of filler on some of their albums, but the standout songs from this band are so great. A lot of people argue, like I said, that they were more like a singles band, right, as opposed to classic album band, and that arguably could be right. But they have so many great songs. For me, it's like all the Wings albums have like half of each album is drop dead classics, and then the others are decent, right? If you take all the great songs from Paul McCartney and Wings, you have like a fantastic double album, which is why I think I like the live album so much, and the live album has resonated with me for so long because all those great songs from the catalog up to Speed of Sound are included on there, plus some covers and plus some Beatles classics, right? That's what makes live Wings Over America so good. So, but anyway, this is all about Band on the Run. This, like I said, this is probably, arguably, their strongest studio album start to finish. This is, there's a reason why this is their biggest hit, right? Their biggest selling album. So, so that is my pick for today, day 15. Let us know what you think of Band on the Run in the comments below, as well as your pick for day 15 here as we march our way through to number 31, or till day 31. I'm not ranking these, right? It's impossible. So many great albums. A lot of really great ones to come. I'm very excited about the stuff that I haven't talked about yet. And I'm even excited about talking about the Honorable Mentions episode because there's so many great ones that just didn't make the top 31. But I love these albums and they're classics. So that's what's hard about when you're doing a year like this. Anyway, this is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. All together, all the damn time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please also do hit the like button before you leave, and also down below, if you care to investigate and help out the channel, there's a link to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as our merch page. We can get all sorts of great Sea of Tranquility gear and attire. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Pete Pardo. We'll see you tomorrow with another one, right? So stay tuned. We've got coming up ranking the albums in just a little bit, where we will be doing our top 10 albums of Cheap Trick. That's coming up in just a little bit, so stay tuned for that. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.